To be completely honest, I love my team. I think they're great. I don't have any intentions of really trading any of them. I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care. But I think we've already discussed we are going to trade coaches. Bee's going to take her coach, Sandy Brondello. Let's get it. It's going to be amazing. Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rule. Sorry, ESPN, if that's not in the rules. But we just made it a rule. So, Sandy Brondello, come on over. Let's get to it. You can coach Sabrina.
The WNBA All-Star Game Draft witnessed an unprecedented moment when Caitlin Clark became the first player in league history to initiate a coaching exchange. This groundbreaking decision reflected deeper tensions surrounding playing styles and coaching philosophies that have shaped recent team dynamics. Clark's decision to replace CHERYL Reeve with Sandy Brondello generated significant attention throughout the basketball community. The relationship between Clark and Reeve has faced various challenges, making this coaching swap particularly noteworthy for observers familiar with their previous interactions.
Lads, the Indiana Fever were better this time last year. They had Katie Lou Samuelson. Katie Lou Samuelson was either starting or their first sub off the bench. Dantas was injured. Nalissa Smith was a starter. Christy Wallace was a starter. Lexi Hull was getting DNPs, and they were still running teams out of the gym. At this stage last year, they were still out there running teams out of the gym. And look,
During the draft proceedings, Clark addressed her strategic approach when asked about potential player trades. Initially expressing satisfaction with her selected roster, she surprised everyone by announcing her intention to execute a coaching change instead of trading players. The spontaneous nature of this decision caught broadcasters and officials off guard. Clark specifically requested Brondello to replace Reeve, citing her preference for different coaching methods and team management approaches. This move represented more than simple personal preference. It highlighted fundamental disagreements about offensive systems and player utilization strategies.
Come on over. Let's get to it. You can coach Sabrina. So therefore, maybe Stewie wants to come on over to my team. Let me know. Bea, you want to give me Stewie?
We have breaking news here. I don't know that I've heard.
Now, Caitlin Clark doing that, guys, is kind of a big slap in the face to Stephanie White. See, no one picked up on this yesterday. See, no one picked up on why she traded the coach. Like I told y'all, they're running this damn motion offense, and Caitlin Clark don't like the motion offense, bro. Hence why she traded her. Why?
The coaching exchange sent clear messages about Clark's views regarding current team management. Her actions appeared to criticize motion offense systems that limit individual creativity and ball handling responsibilities. These systems often require players to operate within structured movements rather than allowing spontaneous playmaking opportunities. Clark's subsequent press conference comments reinforced these concerns. She described herself as primarily a read and react style player who prefers initiating offensive sequences rather than operating off-ball consistently. These statements directly addressed coaching philosophies that emphasize predetermined movements over reactive decision-making.
Last year, they were still out there running teams out of the gym. And look, it is, and like even looking at Caitlin Clark's reaction here, like she's pissed as well. She's pissed as well as just the way they're playing. Like, just take a listen here. You can see by her body language here.
Steph has talked about kind of taking some pressure off you with Aerie kind of running point in some actions and playing off the ball. Just how do you think that will help when you reintegrate onto the court?
The timing of these declarations suggests coordinated messaging aimed at current coaching staff and organizational leadership. Clark's public stance on playing styles represents uncommon boldness for professional athletes, particularly those early in their careers, dealing with established coaching systems. Brondello responded positively to the trade notification during her own media availability. She expressed enthusiasm about the historical nature of the exchange while acknowledging the unique circumstances that created this opportunity. Her comments suggested genuine appreciation for being selected over other available options.
Why she traded her, why she got rid of CHERYL Reeve, and hence why she sent the signal. She sent the signal to Stephanie White about this motion offense, guys. Hence why this same damn day, Caitlin Clark says, you know what, I'm a more of a read and react type player in the press conference. I'll play off ball, but I really don't like to play that style of basketball. She's telling Stephanie White, and she's sending subliminals to
The New York Liberty coach emphasized the potential chemistry advantages her team might gain through this development. Having established relationships with existing players could provide strategic benefits during all-star competition, where preparation time remains limited. Brondello's reaction demonstrated professional grace, while recognizing the entertainment value of Clark's unprecedented decision. Her willingness to embrace the situation reflected understanding of the All-Star Game's celebratory atmosphere and promotional importance. This coaching trade highlighted broader concerns about team management approaches throughout the league. Traditional motion offense systems sometimes conflict with modern playing styles that emphasize individual creativity and dynamic decision-making capabilities.
How do you think that will help when you reintegrate onto the court?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be nice probably not to have to bring the ball up against pressure 94 feet. But like I said, like...
She won't even look. Like, this is Caitlin Clark, who constantly looks towards the camera. If you look, she will always look towards the camera. She's not even looking at anybody. She's looking down and she's looking up and away. Like, she's pissed. She's pissed. Like, she's not happy. And look, you got to make a choice. And I understand there's more basketball choices than this. There is,
The incident also reflected organizational challenges facing teams attempting to maximize talent while maintaining established coaching philosophies. Balancing veteran coaching experience with evolving player expectations requires careful consideration of multiple factors. Clark's bold action raised questions about player empowerment within professional sports organizations. Her willingness to publicly address coaching preferences demonstrated confidence in her position and influence within the basketball community.
White, and she's sending subliminals to the Indiana Fever front office right now about her playing off ball and this motion offense. This ain't her style of play, dog.
Heard of a coach being traded in the All-Star game. This is something you're agreeing to, Fee. There's no terms to this deal.
I agree with Cheryl. I agree with the trade. I love Cheryl. She's my coach here. And you know what? That's just going to be worse for Team Clark because now we got more chemistry on our side. We got more synergy. We know what
The exchange generated mixed reactions from fans and analysts who recognized both the entertainment value and underlying tensions it represented. Some viewed it as refreshing honesty, while others questioned the appropriateness of such public statements. Media coverage focused extensively on the historical significance, while attempting to analyze potential long-term implications for Clark's relationships with coaching staff and organizational leadership. The unprecedented nature of the situation created uncertainty about appropriate interpretations. Reeve's replacement appeared to accept the decision without public objection, maintaining professional composure despite the unusual circumstances. Her response demonstrated experience handling unexpected situations that arise in competitive sports environments.
There's more basketball choices than this. There is, like, you've got to make basketball choices when it comes to, like, when it comes to this, like, there's more basketball, and I'm still going to talk about it like it's a basketball decision. Because at the end of the day, this does come down to basketball more than it comes down to anything else. Like, you're not going to keep a player. You're not going to go and keep a player on your team.
The coaching trade coincided with broader discussions about team performance and strategic adjustments needed to maximize roster potential. These conversations often involved difficult decisions about system modifications and personnel utilization. Clark's actions suggested frustration with current approaches that may limit her natural playing style and overall effectiveness. Professional athletes occasionally need to advocate for conditions that allow optimal performance, even when such advocacy creates temporary complications. The all-star environment provided an appropriate setting for this type of symbolic gesture, where entertainment value and player expression receive greater tolerance than during regular season competition. The relaxed atmosphere allowed for creative decision-making without serious competitive consequences.
because now we got more chemistry on our side. We got more synergy. We know what we expect from each other. So that was a bad move on your part, Kayla. We're taking you down.
Oh.
So that was Caitlin Clark yesterday on ESPN, like I stated, speaking about this trade. Her team is dope. Somebody said Caitlin Clark, notably team USA snub, is about to play the ball. played the All-Star game with Gabby Williams, who very nearly ruined Team USA. Now, that was Caitlin Clark giving the boot to none other than CHERYL REEVE. Now,
Brondello's coaching philosophy apparently aligns better with Clark's preferred playing style, creating potential for improved chemistry and strategic compatibility. Different coaches emphasize varying approaches to player development and game management. The incident demonstrated Clark's growing influence within the league and her willingness to use that influence to address concerns about team management. Such actions require careful consideration of potential consequences while pursuing desired organizational changes. Sandy Brondello's enthusiasm about coaching Clark reflected recognition of her exceptional talents and the opportunity to work with one of the league's most dynamic players. The prospect of developing strategic approaches suited to Clark's abilities clearly appealed to the experienced coach.
Don't keep a player on your team as a mascot. And I think the only reason why you would stick to Stephanie White's system and keep Caitlin Clark on your team is if you think she's a mascot. Like, treating her like she's a mascot. Because let's be real. It's not beneficial on the court for you guys to keep this up. It's not. And this is not me going out there and saying, oh, the Fever are better without Caitlin Clark, because they're not. The Fever without Caitlin Clark in Stephanie White's system are a 500 team.
This coaching exchange ultimately represented larger conversations about adapting traditional basketball systems to accommodate evolving player capabilities and preferences. Professional sports continuously evolve as new talents emerge with different skill sets and expectations. The Indiana Fever organization faces a critical crossroads that demands immediate attention and decisive action. The current situation presents a fundamental incompatibility between coach philosophy and star player utilization that threatens the franchise's competitive future. Analysis of the team's performance reveals a stark contrast between this season's struggles and previous success. During the comparable period last year, the roster featured Katie Lou Samuelson either as a starter or primary substitute, with Damiris Dantas sidelined by injury. Nalissa Smith occupied a starting role alongside Christy Wallace, while Lexi Hull received limited playing time. Despite these personnel limitations, the team consistently dominated opponents and maintained superior court control.
Now, Sandy Brondello opens up about this whole thing during a press conference today with Sabrina Ionescu. Let's check out what they had to say. Roll the footage.
I've been involved in the first ever coach trade of any All-Star game ever. Just want to get your thoughts on that in your mind. First for you, Leo.
They announced it? Yeah. That you got traded? Yeah. Oh, I got to go look at all that. Traded? I have no idea what the teams are.
Second time in history now. Geez, as a player. And I got traded, yes. My son hit me up after he goes, I'm not,
The current coaching approach under Stephanie White creates strategic conflicts that undermine team effectiveness. Visual evidence from recent interviews shows Clark's visible frustration with the existing system. During media sessions, her typical engagement with cameras and reporters has been replaced by downward glances and evident displeasure, indicating significant dissatisfaction with current circumstances. The fundamental issue centers on offensive system design and player deployment. White's coaching philosophy emphasizes ball movement and shared scoring responsibilities, but this approach fails to maximize the team's most valuable asset. The current offensive structure treats Clark as a secondary option rather than the primary facilitator she proved to be during previous successful campaigns.
500 team that are going to suck. The Fever with Caitlin Clark in Stephanie White's system are a 500 team who aren't going to do anything in the playoffs. She's a net neutral in their current system. Caitlin is absolutely a net neutral, because there's one thing with playing Caitlin Clark off the ball, and I'm just going to show you guys this. You guys are going to see the great paint, online. You guys have seen it plenty of times here. What we're going to do.
Examination of the team's off-ball offensive patterns reveals significant structural flaws. The typical possession features Clark operating away from the basketball while teammates attempt to create opportunities through limited screening actions. This approach consistently results in poor spacing and contested shots, particularly when players like Aaliyah Boston lack respected three-point shooting range. The spacing problems become evident through tactical analysis. When Clark operates off the ball, defenders can provide help defense more easily because because certain teammates cannot stretch the floor effectively. Natasha Howard's positioning often clogs driving lanes, while Boston's defender can provide additional support without consequence. This creates situations where Clark receives the ball in poor positions, facing multiple defenders with limited offensive options.
And I got traded, yes. My son hit me up after he goes, I've created history. This is awesome. I got traded as a coach. But look, I get to coach with Sabrina. I'm on Caitlin Clark's in Indianapolis. I mean, what a great show. So we'll go out there and have some fun.
Hello, congrats on the win.
So they definitely got a kick out of Caitlin Clark trading away CHERYL REEVE, man. And just like I stated, this is the first time this has ever happened on any skill in this league. He said, Christy Sides.
Current offensive execution lacks the quick-hitting plays that characterized previous successful seasons. The motion offense concept requires smart decision-makers throughout the lineup, but the roster contains only 2 reliable playmakers. This limitation becomes problematic when the ball moves away from Clark, as teammates cannot consistently create advantages or find open teammates. The paint congestion issue significantly impacts scoring efficiency. Howard's
plenty of times here. What we're going to do is we are going to draw. We're going to draw up the Indiana Fever's off-the-ball offense. So we've got that is really badly drawn there. Screw it. Let's get the key in there. Way too much space here. But this is the Indiana Fever's off. This is what Caitlin Clark playing off the ball is. Is there any back cuts? No, because you have got one of Aaliyah Boston here, but they don't respect her three-point shot.
Strategic alternatives exist that could better utilize available talent. Trading Clark for established players who fit White's system could theoretically improve team cohesion. Potential targets like Alyssa Thomas from Phoenix, Jackie Young from Las Vegas, or Sabrina Ionescu from New York could provide better schematic fits within the current coaching framework. However, this approach ignores Clark's transformative impact when properly utilized. Her ability to elevate lesser talents was demonstrated during previous seasons when she maximized the effectiveness of role players like Katie Lou Samuelson and Christy Wallace. The current system prevents this talent enhancement from occurring. The organizational decision becomes clear when examining competitive alternatives. Clark's skill set would create championship contention possibilities with coaching staffs that prioritize pace and transition basketball, systems that emphasize ball movement through a primary initiator rather than forced distribution would unlock her unique abilities.
He said, Christy Side said, leave it better than you found it. If you're going to criticize players, make sure you do it to everyone. Otherwise, you got stand takes. I don't really know what that means, man. I don't really get that one. That one kind of got me, man. Yeah, man. So a lot of people was really quiet about this game, man. DeWanna Bonner received a standing ovation today. She checked in moments ago.
The Mercury's offensive approach, for example, would complement Clark's strengths while providing the athletic supporting cast needed for optimal performance. Similarly, coaching philosophies that encourage aggressive transition play would restore the dynamic attacking style that made Indiana successful. Current roster construction presents additional challenges within White's system. The lack of multiple smart decision makers means offensive possessions often break down when Clark cannot directly impact the play. This limitation becomes magnified during crucial game situations when execution precision becomes paramount.
Here, but they don't respect her three-point shot, so her defensive players here. Natasha Howard in this scenario is probably, she should be down here, but she's probably somewhere like here, getting in the way, brings another defender here, which means that Caitlin is here, ball is in, let's just say, Hall is Kelsey screened down, Lexi's come up here and had the ball. This is literally their offense. Caitlin has screened for somebody off the ball. Has kind of screened down and they've kind of cut through and gone to the other side. So Caitlin will come and screen. They're down the other.
The coaching staff's reluctance to adjust tactical approaches suggests philosophical inflexibility that could damage long-term competitive prospects. Basketball success requires adapting systems to maximize available talent rather than forcing talented players into incompatible roles. Player development considerations also factor into this analysis. Clark's frustration with current usage patterns could impact her long-term commitment to the franchise. Maximizing her remaining years requires tactical approaches that showcase her elite skills rather than minimizing her impact through systematic limitations.